Battle control initialized.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Red Alert Gaming League Season 9 Minions Round 1. In the lower right corner, playing as the French, we have PieChild, and in the upper left corner, playing as the French, we have Goremented, aka Gain. Let's go to the production tab. Both players nearly even. Goremented just with a slight advantage in the deployment of his barracks. There are a total of 3 oil derricks on this map. Goremented appears to be going for the center. So is PieChild. Goremented coming out with a medic. And not quite on center, but might work to his advantage if he can snipe the incoming engineer. Goremented with a more sizable force lining up in the center of the map. Trying to find the flank, but meeting a 5 stack of rockets of riflemen instead. Goremented just slightly out of position there, losing a few of those riflemen. The force fire move, and PieChild finds the flank. PieChild with decisive control of the center of the map now. Chasing off the medics of Goremented. He's going to have to come up with a new strategy. Both players going double ref. PieChild about a full 10 seconds ahead in the production of his war factory. Goremented with a pillbox in his pocket, anticipating a rush. That usually doesn't happen on allies. Unless, of course, you're playing against a certain player who likes to use his rangers to block your, well, everything. But that's not really PieChild's style. PieChild with good awareness across the map, about to capture his second derrick. Goremented's engineer taking the long way around, and he is out with a ranger. PieChild's ranger is static. Goremented's ranger is going to find some snipes and infantry harassment. If he can get those riflemen one at a time, there's really no contest. PieChild is going to lose quite a few infantry, unless he can chase them down, and he does. PieChild now with the only vehicle on the map, and able to deal swiftly with Goremented's remaining infantry forces. Goremented now relinquished to the upper left-hand corner of the map with poor line of sight overall. Goremented well behind in the production of an MCV, coming out with a light tank to deal with the ranger of PieChild. And the ranger playing taxi cab to the engineer. And is that a bad rally point? I think that was a bad rally point from Goremented. Sending his ore truck all the way to, well, too far. Doesn't need to go all the way over there. Light tank from Goremented is going to find that group of soldiers with rockets mixed in. He's not going to stick around for long. PieChild now with control of 3 oil derricks, both players at 5 harvesters. PieChild ahead by about 1,600 in income. Goremented out with his MCV, well behind PieChild, who has deployed a not a very forward barracks, but a barracks nonetheless. Looks like he's deploying directly for a flank. He's got that rally point set up for a flanking maneuver. And PieChild's Ranger spotting the MCV of Goremented, preventing it from deploying. That is some great harassment. And Goremented finding a spot to deploy, also deploying a pillbox, but PieChild is aware now of his first expansion, moving in with a sizable infantry force. Rocket troopers in the mix, able to take out that pillbox, but another one drops. Goremented keeping PieChild busy, but I think PieChild will be able to destroy that refinery, and he does. Out with another pillbox, chasing off the infantry, maintaining the position of his MCV. Goremented also moving towards the center of the map, destroying PieChild's oil derrick. And the sacrificial medics leading the way. We have an attack on main from PieChild, destroying one harvester, blocking off the refinery on that side. Destroying a second harvester and a medium tank. Goremented is now down to 4 harvesters. Also his expansion MCV being chased off. Harassment forces of PieChild escaping north and also chasing off the ore truck of Goremented from the expansion point. Goremented still on his first expansion, however, with 2 ore refineries and 3 ore trucks on it. A lot of action in the center of the field. I think Goremented might lose this MCV. He's got no way to escape and is going to get chased down by those medium tanks. Goremented calling it good game at 7 minutes and 31 seconds, 146 to 84. Let's take a look at the economy graph. PieChild with an early lead, maintaining his lead, and just harassing Goremented's eco lines to the point where they're just no longer functional. Converting cash to bullets very early on with a sizable infantry force and also very great macro at the beginning of the game. Contesting that oil derrick. Just one little slip up from Goremented meant that he lost a couple of riflemen there, and it was just enough that he wasn't able to hold a static position any longer. On to game 2.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
Hello and welcome to Red Alert Gaming League Season 9 Minions Round 1. In the upper left corner, playing as the Germans, we have PieChild, and in the lower left, or in the lower right corner, playing as Russia, we have Goremented. Let's go to the production tab. Goremented just slightly ahead in the deployment of his barracks, coming out with a kennel. Dogs providing great line of sight in the early game. Allies versus Soviets. Allies have to play very dynamically if they want to defeat the Soviets. It is, in fact, possible, and I do not agree with the widely held belief that the Allies are automatically weaker. I think they just require more micro and a little bit more strategy, but they can really hold their own. PieChild out with a infantry force. Goremented coming out with his engineers, going to be able to capture his natural oil derrick. He's got good coverage on both flanks of the position there. PieChild trying to advance into that, meeting static infantry forces, getting completely wiped out, losing about 5 infantry in the process. Goremented claiming the first oil derrick. PieChild not far behind. And some less than optimal ore refinery placement from PieChild. That's going to cost him in the long run. He's about 3 seconds ahead with his War Factory build. Both players going double ref again. Goremented's brewing some sort of flank. It's a Grenadier rush following the far edge of the map. Goremented capturing a hospital, which is absolutely just super important for the Soviets, since they don't have the ability to produce medics. PieChild about to go do the same, so he's no longer reliant on his medics. But here come those Grenadiers. 1, 2, 3. And there is no infantry at PieChild's base. And he also doesn't have a defensive structure queued up, so all Goremented has to do is find the right time to pull the trigger on that, and well, I bet he's going to go for trying to stay hidden in the ore patch. Not the best place to attack, risking getting run over by those ore trucks. And he might get this one ore refinery. Not the best target to attack. Not the best target to attack. Goremented going all in with those Grenadiers. Losing all 3 in the process. Destroying one refinery and severely damaging another. PieChild is going to move in on Goremented's hospital. And take away Goremented's ability to heal his units in the field. That is very unfortunate for Goremented. Goremented with a sizable force, a dog and a flak truck, not necessarily totally necessary combination. Flak truck providing better line of sight than the dog. Both players on 5 harvesters and 1 oil derrick. Goremented providing some harassment to that troop contingent of PieChild. PieChild responding in kind by destroying the flak truck with a quick ranger move and 2 rocket soldiers in the mix. Both players out now with their first MCV. PieChild with scouts all over the map. He misses the engineer from Goremented, however. PieChild static with his MCV. Goremented deploying his first MCV. And a sizable force brewing from both players. PieChild with slightly better map position. The hospital, in addition to providing the ability to heal your units in the field, also provides a very nice line of sight in the lower corner of the map. So both defensively and offensively, a very useful structure to capture. Looks like Goremented's first expansion is going to be contested with a little bit poor placement of that flame tower. He's anticipating an attack from the north. Goremented splitting his forces. PieChild moving in on Goremented's first expansion. And quickly retreating once he sees the forces that Goremented has deployed. PieChild moving out his main MCV. Going to create a forward base here. Flanking with the tanks and taking out that flame tower. Moving southward with his engineer. Going to try to capture something maybe. A sizable force from PieChild, though it's split and half the army is idle. I don't know what he plans on doing with that. PieChild out now with his second expansion. 7 harvesters PieChild to Goremented 6. And that ore field is being contested. That is a dedicated anti-ore truck brigade. Simultaneous attacks on the ore field and on the oil derrick of Goremented. Goremented losing an ore truck there, losing several other ore trucks in another location. I missed that. Oh, there it is. A tank flank deep into Goremented's base. Goremented rerouting his forces. Goremented providing a counterattack, trying to chase off the tanks from his main base and also at the same time harass PieChild, killing his MCV on PieChild's expansion, PieChild's original MCV. His second expansion, or his expansion MCV is undeployed, meaning that PieChild no longer has a production ability for structures and defensive structures. That might set him back. Goremented about to come out with his second war factory. Chasing off the forces of PieChild, but losing his first expansion, or his second expansion, sorry, in the process. Also losing a harvester that he can really not afford to lose at this point. Back down to 4 harvesters, 0 oil derricks to PieChild's 7 harvesters, and 1 oil derrick. Goremented attempting to turn the tables, but meeting a sizable defensive force, and PieChild pulling back his ore truck. The tanks finding excellent crushes amongst the infantry. PieChild leading the way, 9,000 income to 4,400. Sizable force from PieChild in the south and another sizable force in the north, as well as a small contingent moving through the middle. PieChild still with a oil derrick and a hospital. Leading the way, 10,000 income to 4,700. Goremented about to go Tesla tech. Negative. Not even on radar tech yet. Deploying 3 Tesla coils at his expansion. And the classic pincer maneuver from PieChild. He's going to find some... He's going to trade well here. A good concave shape from Goremented, trading better than expected. And the forces of Goremented being completely obliterated. PieChild has excellent control of the map now, splitting Goremented's base in 2. Ceaselow's Tesla coils doesn't care, attacks in anyway. No, he retreats. Attack on the eco lines of Goremented's main. PieChild chases Goremented's ore trucks off of that patch. PieChild destroying a power plant and a war factory in the process, and a Tesla coil deployment is not going to stem this flood. This might be good game. Low power and the Tesla coils down. Gain calling it good game at 11 minutes and 15 seconds. Correction, Goremented playing as Gain. 392 to 265. Let's go to the eco graph. Goremented's line a little hard to see there against the background, but both players about dead even until minute 2.5 when PieChild actually falls behind. PieChild not gaining an advantage in eco again until nearly minute 6, and both players dead even in army production throughout the entire game. This was all about positional play. A few major things that happened. That tank flank into Goremented's main base really hurt his eco. Also, the destruction of Goremented's hospital. Losing your hospital as Soviets is, you're not. It's just a slow bleed from that point. When your opponent has a hospital and is playing in such a way where they're retaining their army, you can tell that by all these vetted, double vetted, and general troops, just able to heal the army in the field. Both games going to PieChild. Red Alert Gaming League, Season 9, Minions Round 1.
Battle control terminated.